Let me get a couple hundred. Whole crew bag, check it, come and get some. Falls deep, yeah, Gucci, how you head sprung. They ain't checking for me, come and got another one sliding on the model sun bread, copy roll out. Tiptoeing in the club, by the pass out. VIP on fleek, baby, shout out. Spotlight on the pool, time to wild out. Bottle, come and why not? Hey, make no mistake, put me hoe. I feed up off the head, pull up on the gun, make this bitch off her break. I'm a headhunter, baby, who's cookie and fake. I had that dick up early, oh, you bitches can play. And your street penetrate, big mouth, little dick, that's the shit that I hate. Money niggas with now, ain't no time for that weight. And if you talking about the money, that's come up with your headshot. Make sure you get it right, nigga, don't stop. Ball out on your ass, nigga, nice rock. No deal with fast green like gas pedal when it don't stop. I'm coming for your headshot. Make sure you get it right, nigga, don't stop. Ball out on your ass, nigga. Oh yeah, whip fast green like gas pedal when it don't stop. Feel that money in my feelings, a hot dog, hardcore foreplay. I get a nigga rock off. Looking so good, I get your baby mama knocked off. That damn finesse the rest, but I'm not soft. Grip on my ass, fucking to the feel though. Feel how I put it, nigga, feel though. Killer Cam on the track though, flow sick and she hotter than your main pro. The realest Cash City and I'm up and no. Walk Aki runway and I'm out the door. Pull up while I change clothes on to the next site. Brown got the vibe right, see me on the big scene, cause the dude tight. The feeling I give them is instrumental. Rock top on the lot, this is an anthem. Killer Cam and Sylvie on the ransom, and he up this an anthem. When your headshot. Make sure you get it right, nigga, don't stop. All out on your ass, nigga, nice rock. No deal with fast green like gas pedal when it don't stop. I'm coming for your headshot. Make sure you get it right, nigga, don't stop. All out on your ass, nigga, nice rock. No deal with fast green like gas pedal when it don't stop. I'm coming for your headshot. Make sure you get it right, nigga, don't stop. All out on your ass, nigga, nice drop. No deal with fast green like gas pedal when it don't stop. Trick, you know how I get it. Off top, non-stop, yeah, the industry waiting. All your homies is taking, ain't no upper debate. I'ma take it all, Poppy, come and get it, she waiting. Yeah, let's flip it, I'm a nympho. Lady in the street, slut for my dude, yo. Kitty take it when I get it, I'm a deep throw. Cool, Lord, first record, daddy start the show. Head gang, get you high like an addict. Tap it in the face, and fucking the addict. Get a nigga home.
Where you at?
PlayStation, man.
How much?
$20 special and $30 for 2 hours.
All right. Backpage asshole, $20 for the low, $30 for 2 hours. I only got that bitch jump in the shower. Backpage asshole, $20 for the low, $30 for 2 hours. I only got that bitch jump in the shower. $20 for the low, $30 for 2 hours. I only got that bitch jump in the shower. Backpage asshole, $20 for the low, $30 for 2 hours. I only got that bitch jump in the shower. I only got that bitch really like a hey. Hope from there, I'm around here on motherfucking street. Yeah, done in a motherfucking street. You see all that? See, got it all. I'm put the weight in the shower. Yeah, I told her who to jump in the shower. I love this song. So what? So Poppy? So Poppy? He's from Day. From here, right? I don't even think that bitch. I don't even think that bitch. Anybody know who the nigga is? Give me a shout out. I would love to have him on the show. What's going on, y'all? Episode 3. That was a lot of work. I don't normally do that. I told myself about 4 Mondays ago I was going to start the gym the next Monday, and I still haven't made it yet. I'm working on it though, so it is what it is. Anyway, guys, episode 3. So this one is actually gonna be pretty dope. I'm looking at my audience, guys. My audience, they fine as fuck back there. I can't even lie. We have a great show. So today we're gonna be talking to a series of different artists, right? It's entitled "I'm an Artist and I Am Sensitive About My Shit." So I'm super, super excited. But of course, before I can start any show, you know we gotta get it going with the B&B Corner. So shout out and welcome none other than my bestie and my bae from B&B Corner today. Coming. Yes, bestie. Yes, so of course, y'all look so damn good. Hey, how you doing?
Sorry, I got distracted. I was on Facebook. Cash App is embarrassing me right now. The thing won't go through. I'm trying to buy these like beautiful products over here. Jody, why do you brought some good products? You know how I am with shopping. And look, the Cash App is still spinning. What?
We talked about your issues and how you got to slow down and how you're gonna try to do better. But I get it.
Okay.
Her shit is dope. We'll talk about her.
Yeah, her shit is dope. Dope.
Guys, stay tuned for what she's talking about because you're gonna want to get your Cash App out too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so guys, those of you that have been on the show before should know already who they are. But if not, you know, everybody has to have that corner that's gonna ride or die for them. So this is my backbone, my bae of 2 years, Miss Nancy. So not only do these motherfuckers keep it real with me, they always seem to have the tea, bitch. What is the tea? I'm about to drink the whole thing real quick. It's like that?
Okay.
What's going on?
Okay, so I'm like going through our topics, and let's just talk about Nicki Minaj.
She was a talk for the whole week.
Okay, all right. So
there was just so much going on. Like I'm scrolling because there's just so much that was going on with Nicki Minaj. You know, her album just released,
yes.
Queen. Now, they'll say there was no queen behavior going on with Nicki because she was just really being a savage out here in these streets.
Ooh.
And she was talking about her ex-boo, Safari. Yeah.
I heard that got pretty nasty.
Very, very, very nasty.
It was pretty petty, actually, but, you know.
So, I mean, is that okay, though? You know, you've broken up with someone for years now. You guys haven't been together, and now you just decided to just talk all kinds of shit about them? I mean, at what point do you stop talking about your ex?
So here's the thing. The reality of it is, the reality of it is, though, is that we are still that petty out here with the normal people, the normal folks. Just because you got money doesn't mean that the pettiness goes away. Because I see this shit on Facebook.
I mean, but she's behind cameras, though. You in the line, like
she don't, I mean, because that's normal for her. You know what I mean? So, like, for her, having cameras and being in that limelight is just much as we know we got to get up and take a shit and go to the bathroom. It's like not a big deal. She knows that's whatever she does, that's always going to be her platform. So she don't give a shit.
I mean, even if it comes up in an interview, you could say, you know, I don't want to talk about him. You know, I'm here to promote my album. But here's some of the things that she was talking about. Okay, who knew that Safari had like a full-on wig situation going on?
Know that.
Not real. That's not real. I didn't know that.
He paid a lot of money for it.
He paid a lot of money.
Well,
then you that's something you can pay for. I didn't know there was like I didn't know. So that's the thing. Okay. All right. So yeah. So the hair plugs. Okay. Or wig / situation he had going on.
Okay.
Then so y'all, I don't know if you guys, well, some of y'all not into dick, but for those of you who are into dick,
Dick, the real one that got the blood pumping through it.
the pole station, not the plastic one, but the one that
Okay.
Safari had a leak, you know, where one of his dick pictures leaked. And very, very huge. I wish I could find it right now and put it on it. But I mean, we talk about mandingo, big, slinging, dick, don't fuck me,
don't
be hard, don't be hard. I might actually I got it. So then Nicki posted on I think this was Twitter. Bitch, you hit me and Meek asking us to get your dick pic back from someone. LOL. You were playing with your dick in the shower by yourself with suds and shit. I have the email where you said you couldn't pay your electric bill, and why you lied on me, but yeah.
That's pretty
So
good.
Safari needed Nikki and Meek's help to get the dick pic back, and he was having some troubles paying his light bill.
Damn, but like,
She could have been like,
you're right. I mean, they were together for, you know, so here's what I want to that I did hear a little bit. I don't know if you guys heard, because actually was, you know, of course, how could you not kind of divulge into it a little bit because of the fact that it was all over? But I heard a part of an interview where she talked about their beginning.
Yeah.
And how, like, this nigga was like a no good nigga.
So she was
like,
a breadwinner, basically.
She was a
held him
breadwinner.
down
She
completely.
said that, she said, if Dr. Tinkin, Muma, and Sister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They tell her that she's a bum bitch.
Wow.
Verbatim.
That
Am I
she's
lying? Am I lying?
No,
She's a bum bitch for trying to follow her rap career. She needs to get a real job. She said even Safari told him, bitch, this is a dream. Like, why you even trying this shit?
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard that version of the interview, I'm not gonna lie, I was like,
I get it.
I think I
I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it.
Because not only did you not believe in me, but
Yeah.
even though you didn't believe in me, I still rode you.
Yeah.
I still stayed with you for 10 years.
Yeah.
I still put you on, because honestly, Safari wouldn't have been relevant if it wasn't for Nicki.
And let's just be honest, it's kind of quite clear by some of the tracks he put out that he was not right at her ride.
Okay.
Because this shit is whack. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I love Safari for teaching Jamaican Jamaican, but I'm just saying. The lyrics
beats sound good, but the lyrics is like.
Some of the lyrics are crazy. Okay.
Yeah. So clearly she put him on. Clearly she was helping him out. He may have helped with the ad lib here or there, some directional.
But she was right or die.
Yeah.
But she was right or die when I think it was a bum nigga. Not only was she getting it from bum nigginess from him, but the family was coming at her. Like, nobody believed in her dream. She had to literally go out there, not having any type of support from the people that you expect you to support you the most and make it happen. And she fucking did.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm not even mad. I think when I saw that part, I was like, you know, Nikki,
I didn't see that part. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the T. Nicki Minaj and Safari. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Some Tiana Taylor team.
Tiana Taylor, again.
You mean with oh yeah, okay, so Tiana Taylor and Jeremiah. Okay, I'm gonna try to act like I know who Jeremiah is. I don't remember Jeremiah, but I know he is. I know Jeremiah. So we got Tiana Taylor, and you know she
And it's actually his tour, but nobody knew that. I thought it was Tiana Taylor's tour the whole time.
Okay, what songs he got?
Okay, does he have any
so
songs?
Tiana Taylor. He has a new
What? There went anybody to crickets for Jeremiah?
No. But anyway,
Isn't it like hairline receding?
I don't know. He might want to talk to Safari's doctor. Yeah, so apparently they were on tour together, and there was some situation where she felt like she wasn't treated fairly. He said something about, because I don't have no chicken wings, some shit like that. He said.
So also he mentioned that she was opening up for him.
Yeah,
And she was upset about that because they made it clear that they were equal.
Oh.
And he was like, well, basically, you know, Tiana Taylor opened up for me, and then she took it the wrong way.
Trying to make it seem as though that she's not a significant. Okay,
And
and
not
I
a
remember hearing her say something like, yo, nigga, you know, so we had a motherfucking understanding. We had to talk. Okay, I remember that part. So that's what she was talking about. She was talking about, like, we already discussed that I'm not coming up on here as somebody trying to come up. I'm already up on your level, it's not higher. And if anything, we're equal.
I don't know about higher, because now we talking about Jeremiah, he had some really.
He has some hits.
But I mean, he has relevant.
I mean,
It's not relevant now.
2018 relevancy.
No.
Let me say 2014. Let me even say 2014.
No.
We had a few hits.
Somebody Google me, Google and
I don't know.
I don't know birthday
I remember the birthday section. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know any Taylor. Someone's gonna tell it to me.
You don't know Taylor? Okay, now that's
I know her. I know the song. I know her. I know Tiana Taylor. I know the song.
That's my song. That's
But don't turn me on, hey. That's my jam. But I like her new album though. I really like her new album. I haven't heard it, but I do like her new album.
Okay.
All I'm saying is clearly it was a mess between the two of them, and she separated herself.
She did.
She pulled out. I love her though. I love her.
I love her.
energy.
She's on Playboy. She's on
I
Playboy.
love her. I love
She's
her
on the
energy.
front
I love
cover
her.
of Playboy magazine.
Her album. Keep the same energy. Like super dope album. I needed way more than 7 songs on the album. It was really good. Really good album.
Okay, I haven't heard it.
But yeah, they got into a little bit of something, and they were going back and forth on social media. Yeah. Even her husband had jumped in like, oh, this is a threat. Because Jeremiah had said something back to him, something like, Jeremiah's responses were more like unbothered type responses, but you know, the hubby jumped in and was like, look, if there's a threat, bring it my way.
I know that's right. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. Okay. Although I think anyway, go ahead. So
So Tiana Taylor, Nicki Minaj Safari.
Okay.
That was the most recent tea going on.
Well, you know, usually at this point, I thank you guys for being here, and I kind of they move on to go to our guest.
Yes,
I do that. I do a little bit of that.
Okay.
No, but I thought about you for the show, friend.
No,
I did.
I did.
So, well, babe, don't listen. She was like, oh, babe, I need to be part of the
I want to be part of
I
it.
ain't part of the makeup stuff because you know I don't. First of all, let me tell you, the first time that I had eyelashes on this show, Nancy put my eyelashes on. Okay, bitch. Nancy can do some eyelashes. Don't let nobody fool you, bitch. Because I didn't know I need to buy glue. I'm gonna be stuck on by themselves. Okay, bitch. She's like, no, bitch. I do everything. Yes, that's when you be asking me to take out your lace front or your crochet. I'll be like, Nancy, you want to put some Anyway, so the reason I wanted to keep you on the show is because this is something you and I have talked about a lot. Like, I think when I come to your house, I bring eyeliner because you like, bitch, I don't even know how to put that shit on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women like you and I that we are able to, or we don't choose to wear makeup. Most of the time we leave the house with bare face. It's just how we roll. Right. But, you know, as we're getting older, going to these different events and stuff like that, we want to be able to kind of have, you know how to do makeup quickly because they don't got time.
A quick little beat.
Quick little beat. You know, we're not gonna do the 1 and 2 and the stroke
and the highlighter and this and the
no, we're not gonna do it. That's not who we are. Right. But I actually think that there are a lot of women out there that are like us. So I'm really excited about the next guest, and I thought about you, Bessie.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So thank you, baby. Let's have it up for my baby. Okay, so let me tell you about this next guest. And actually, so not only am I going to introduce you to her, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and we're going to kind of talk to her and kind of get to know her together while she's actually going to beat somebody's face. So she's going to do a quick little demonstration between 5 to 10 minutes to kind of show, you know, what are some of the things that you can do to, you know, get your face looking really, really nice. Not too much makeup, something that's simple. And of course, at the end of the show, throughout the show, I'm going to be giving her information so you guys can get to know her. So I'm excited about this.
I am too.
All right. So without further ado,
yes. Scooch down a little bit.
Let's see, I like being on the couch with you. Okay. So without further ado, guys, I would like to introduce you to none other than Miss Christina. Hey, come sit. Okay, so you're going to really be, most of our time spent together, we're going to kind of interview as well as have you do your demonstration, we kind of talk about it as well. So where's my model? Where's my model? Hey, Mom! All right, so Christina is actually a licensed esthetician. She's a professional makeup artist. Girl, your work. God, make sure you put her website up, all her information, so that everybody knows how to get in touch with this lady. Got ladies for Carnival coming up. You're amazing. You do special effects.
Yes.
Some of the stuff that I've seen, face and body painter. You've been doing it for nearly 7 years, along with a lot of self-taught experience you mentioned as well. You work with America's top cosmetic lines, which is so dope. And people in the community. So I want to, for the sake of time, I'm going to kind of talk to you a bit because I'm going to ask you as well. But I'm going to have you kind of get started on your model and kind of talk a little bit about what you're doing. So people can start there. So my best is not going to be all up in it because I have told you we don't know. Can we have somebody change the camera for us, please?
So we can go ahead and get that focus on. Let's put it up there. And then you can go ahead and stand right next to her and kind of get started. We'll go ahead with that. Just rest it right on top. All right. Good lighting. All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of let you start. So we already kind of set the precedence of don't have time for all to leave out of the house. We want to have something where we can look good. What's gonna be what part of the face is gonna give me the most pop, the most value, and just go ahead. Talk to me.
So the main focus that I'm going to be focusing on is the brows. Like as women, that's our concern. Sometimes we have that brow that's uneven. So we have like this saying in the makeup industry, the brows are not twins.
Okay.
They're sisters.
Okay.
So it's like so it's like, you know how siblings, you look alike, you see the resemblance, but it's not balanced. So what we're gonna work on is the brows. Basically a lot of people don't know with brows, you always want to line it up like this.
Okay.
So you start with the inner part here.
Okay.
And then the arch would start right where the eyeball is at, into the middle. So the arch would start in this point, and then you always want to do the end right here.
Okay.
So when you start the brows, you always want to brush them out.
All right.
Just make sure all the hairs are in place.
Does it matter what direction we brush it? Up or up and out?
I prefer doing the front up. Some people have like this, feel where some of them want to brush the hair up to give it this natural look.
Okay.
But me, I prefer to kind of just draw it in. And then you could even mimic the hairs and brush them going up.
Okay.
And then you kind of just fill it in and all the way down to the tip. And you kind of want to keep a reminder of like where you kind of lined up and set it up at.
Nice.
So with me, I like to do the brows in a way where there's like a gradient fill, where they kind of like are lighter in the front and then they fade out darker in the back. So if you can see and that's without the concealer.
Okay.
And then usually I do.
So she does not have on any concealer.
No,
right
no
now.
concealer. Now this is without concealer. Some people don't like concealer. Some people do. But I feel like the concealer is very good for moments for those that didn't arch their eyebrows.
Okay.
And then they want to get that quick arch eyebrow look without having to go to the salon and get it waxed real quick.
Okay.
And what color pencil did you use? Was that a dark brown on her?
Yes, it's a dark brown. It's really good for brunettes.
Okay.
That's
what I was gonna ask. Is the color do you care about the color of your hair, or you just go with
listen?
the
So if Becky was on here right now, would you tell Becky?
Becky would. I would.
I want to know. I have Becky friends.
Well, right now I'm asking a question.
God damn it.
No, it's fine. But I always tell women of color, stay away from black. Do not do black eyebrows.
Okay.
Do not.
Okay.
They look very scary.
Stay
So
away
stay
from
away from black.
Okay.
Stay away from black. Do dark browns, brunettes.
Okay.
Depending on the complexion. Some people I've seen do auburn.
Okay. So what's that? What we got going on?
That's the concealer.
Okay.
So now I'm lining up the brows.
Okay. So you're basically lining up exactly underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I didn't want to start all the way to the beginning.
Okay.
So with this, I'm kind of brushing it down. I'm doing a brush down effect.
Okay. What y'all think, ladies?
I love it.
Y'all checking it out?
Yeah.
Because I think she's right. I think honestly, the eyes are absolutely where you're gonna get the most pop.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even when I just go and I get my eyes threaded, just my eyebrows threaded, I feel like, damn, bitch, like, hey, you back, you know? And that's even without makeup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine. Like, I think this is a really good, ladies, guys. I hope you guys are taking notes. This is awesome. All of her links are here. So I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that I saw that you were pushing on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things that I saw that you're pushing quite a bit and is near and dear to my heart, not because I was personally experienced it, but
I definitely am into, you know, empowerment of women in different ways. You talk a lot about domestic violence.
Yes, yes.
And a lot of your charities are to actually go into these shelters and be able to, I guess, do face shields for these ladies.
Yes.
So just tell me a little bit about, now, I don't want to, you know, dig too much because I know this is something that can be very personal. Is this, are you moved by this and passionate about this because of your own experience? Or are you just someone that sees a need and just wants to fill it?
For me, it's a personal experience.
Okay.
I've been in several relationships that were violent, but the final one was in my marriage where it was a near-death situation.
Oh my God.
Wow. And it was to the point where my ex-husband had cut off the brake lines on my car, was showing up to my school. Wow. It had got to where he was, you know, like dragging me in public, beating me up in public, ripping out my hair, to the point where he had connections with the people that were lawyers and judges and was able to make sure that restraining orders were dropped.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically with that situation, what happened was it took a turn for the worse. It even happened to where my kids were pretty young at the time. And at the time, he took the child locks off of the car and my kids were very little and they opened the car and almost came out the car.
Wait a minute, wait. And these are the children that you had with him?
No, I don't have with him. This is from a previous relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, it got
and your children are okay?
Yeah, they're okay. They're fine now.
Okay, wow.
So it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Let me make a difference in my life. Let me just do what I need to do. That's how I got into makeup.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure, of course.
What made you stay, and how long did you stay in this abusive relationship?
What made me stay? You know, at the time I was saying to myself, I'm like, okay, maybe this is, you know, I'm feeling sad because of the stuff that he was going through as a child, his mother neglecting him because he had mommy issues. Yeah. So it was one of those things like, this isn't him. I was really trying to see the best in him instead of the worst in him. So eventually I was just like, no, enough is enough, because it got to where intimate moments of us were being shared. He would make web pages on Facebook, was putting nude pictures of me up. It had got that far, yeah. Even did registered on porn sites and posted all my stuff on porn sites. So it had so it had got to a point where I was just like, enough is enough. I got very depressed, to the point I was telling myself, like, look, is this what life is really worth? Is this something that I want for myself? And, you know, eventually I kind of worked the nerve to get up, because he actually, long story short, I was battling a case with police brutality. He called the police on me and I was assaulted by the police.
What?
And I was facing 5 years prison time.
What?
Yeah, and he ended up being the snitch for the police.
Wow.
And basically the lawyers were telling me I don't have a shot of being found innocent. They told me find somebody to watch my kids, turn in them before DCF gets to them. And I ended up going to the trial that day, and they found me not guilty after 3 hours of the jury deliberating.
Gosh.
Yeah, so that was the final thing for me.
Have you ever thought about writing a book?
I've started.
Okay, good. Clap it up, lady. That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, you know, thank you.
I'm sorry. What is his status? Like, what happened?
Who, the husband?
The husband.
A crazy story. He wrote a book.
Girl.
He wrote a book and he's done stage plays. And he actually has the book written, part of it about me, but the characters are changed in the book. Yeah, and in the book, he refers to me as a side chick.
What?
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he refers to me as the side chick, and it's like we were married, so how do I, how do you even do that? But later on, I ended up finding out he was in another relationship besides me. He was living with me and his baby mother at the same time. And that was his way of covering up that he was cheating.
So let me address something really quickly, and I think it's very important. I'm so glad that you brought that up. Ladies, I want you to understand that just because you are married does not mean necessarily that that's your man.
It's so true.
Because you might, in fact, be the side chick. Your marriage to that man might be a situation of, I need my papers, or you know, maybe you can help me get off some of this child support, or you know, you never know what the situation is. So you have to be very, very present and cognizant and self-aware, and that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah. Marriage does not guarantee anything, sweetheart. So I'm so glad that you brought that up.
It's true.
Okay, really quickly, let's jump back into where we are at with the eyebrows.
Okay. Right now we're filling. Already started on the other eyebrow. Did the concealer.
Okay.
And then now we're lining. The thing is with the concealer, you always want to do a shade or 2 shades lighter.
Okay.
Women always tend to make the mistake of going 5-6 shades lighter, and then they complain about ashiness. So in the makeup industry, we have this term called the halo.
Okay.
Like, have you ever seen when you take the pictures and you see the line?
Yeah.
We call that the halo. So when you see the halo, that's a no-no.
Okay.
So
if you see ladies, wait a minute, let's go. If you see a halo, that's a no-no. All right.
That's a no-no. So with the halo, like, a lot of times you see it in photos with the flash, and sometimes the best way to eliminate that, if you do use the wrong color.
Thank you, Lisa. Lisa says awesome makeup. Thank you, Lisa.
The best thing to do when you see the halo, you can get a powder that's the same color of the person's complexion and kind of go over it to kind of eliminate that effect. And then anytime you're doing the brows, you're doing the upper part.
Okay.
You want to do a color that's the same as them. You could do a lighter part here, because what it's going to do is pop out the brow bone and give it like a deep eye effect. So that way when you put the eyeshadow on, it'll blend in better.
Okay. 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 Wow.
And you talked about how it appears in photos. Do you recommend different brands of makeup?
Yes, I do.
Professional photo shoots? I'm so proud of you.
Yes, I do. I do recommend different kinds. I work for MAC part-time, but there's times I don't always endorse MAC. It's a lot of other makeup products that I like Makeup Forever. You have a lot of stuff that they have makeup that's really good for underwater. So like Makeup Forever, Inglot, Bobbi Brown, Becca Cosmetics.
Also, too, really quickly, I just want to let you know that Bernard Dawson says that from a photographer perspective, this is really good information. So he says thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's because I believe I've heard that MAC Cosmetics is more suitable for people who are doing photo shoots.
It is.
The camera, something like that.
It is, but with MAC, you also have different foundations. MAC has one of their older formulas called Studio Fix, which it contains titanium oxide, which is what the lifeguards put on their nose. So Studio Fix powder tends to give off an ashier effect when you take photos.
Okay.
For
so
their
you want to stay away from that.
Yeah, the powder to set, but I would like the powder from them. I like to use is the Studio the finish powder, because it basically mimics the skin. If you look from this eyebrow here to this one, you can see the concealer difference. One is lighter. It's more, this powder is actually sheer. It mimics the skin, so I'm just using it to blend to kind of set the eyebrow. And I'm going over, and then I'm going to do the same thing here, so that way it'll kind of even out.
And I mean, it doesn't help that you also have a beauty. Shout out to my model, Zaria. Let's give a shout out. She's so beautiful. Zaria actually is a young nurse. She just moved down here from Tennessee, and she is single. So I'll let you, girl.
Is she ready to mingle?
Is she ready to mingle?
Yes, very much.
So awesome. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So now I'm just kind of finishing up, touching it up. And it's just easy, like just 1, 2, 3, like concealer. And then you have different options for eyebrows. You could do pencils. You could do a dark brown eyeshadow. You have different options you can use. So you're not limited to just pencil, because some people don't like pencil. Some people don't like the gel.
Right.
Nice.
But overall, like if you want a look like for every day, because that's the main thing people focus on. And then sometimes when I do makeup, it's like one of those things when I go out, people are like, hey, they're like, Christina, your eyebrows look good. But like that's the main focus. Like, and then you could just do that and put a simple little powder on your face and then be done.
That's amazing. You did a beautiful job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. All right, so thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Much mentioned you. You're okay with your work, girl. I want to appreciate you for. Let me go ahead and put this back. So, Christina, I really, really appreciate you. We have some really great feedback and questions. I know when you get a chance, you can be able to take a look and see what some of the questions and stuff folks have. But all of her information should be kind of scrolling up right there now. If you wanted to get in touch with her.
Get in touch with her.
You have an event coming up. Talk about that real quick.
Yes, I have an event. I just actually booked an event for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It'll be October 20th.
Okay.
In North Miami. What I'm going to do is honor women and basically who are survivors of domestic violence and breast cancer.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is going to be like a fundraiser, kind of raffle type of vibe, and basically make it like a brunch. So it's supposed to be like some vibe, kind of like Maxis and mimosas type of thing.
Wow.
So
we have to
support. So I'll give you guys all the info, but it'll be, a list of people that are coming out there to support, and then we'll also be honoring women who are still battling breast cancer, some who are still in remission, some who are still going through domestic violence or just left the relationship, who are living in shelters. So I'm surprising them with makeovers so that way So it's very near and dear to my heart because it's a lot of women that are out there, who are struggling, and it takes for that moment for them to kind of just say, you know what, I'm going to step up to the plate and do what I always dreamed of. So I'm going to acknowledge and recognize other women who took the same kind of leap of faith that I did and said that they're going to live their dream and pursue their careers in spite of. So,
yay! Well, Christina, please don't leave. Towards the end, we actually have a section that's going to be for all of our guests, the panel section.
Okay.
And definitely some of the questions that we have from our guests and some of the even poems that were sent in, we're going to get a chance to look up. All right, so guys, great talking about it. All right, thank you guys. Let me go back to my chair. That was dope. That was really dope. I hope you guys enjoyed that. All right, so my next guest. Okay, so it's not to say that I am not excited about all of my guests, because I am. I really embrace the opportunity to be able to tap into these people's lives, but the reason that I'm a little bit more excited about this particular person is because those of you that follow me, you probably have heard this person's music. So a lot of the things that, most of the marketing that I do, of course, you know how Facebook is. If you're going to use somebody else's shit, then they give you a hard time. So I always try to go to original underground artists. And this particular person is somebody that has allowed me to use quite a few of her tracks. And she's actually chosen the TV takeover, My Life Raw All the Way, Motherfucking Live, to debut her new single, bitch. I haven't even heard it, okay? So that's how hot this is. I think only her and her little booski know what the fuck it sounds like, okay? Maybe the person in the studio, I don't even know. Maybe even he has to wear earmuffs, can really hear, just give it a beat. Who knows? But you know what? Before I even bring her on, I want to give you guys a little bit of a taste. DJ, drop that beat.
And
Hey! Hold it on. I'm not like I raised the party, by the way. Shout out to you.
An open microphone can be dangerous.
They hear me coming, I'm stunting, better get your mind right. It's taking care of things that's in me, got greatest appetite.
That's my girl, y'all.
So excuse me, ho, it's still not watch me work, the flow ain't dead, nigga. In the game, you touch me, fuck the goofies, yo, I'm ready for competition. I'm itching, bring your game face. Karma, your honor, make you wonder, better change the game pace.
This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Real bitch, angry shit, rap and change the game, but miss I'm calling all my lyrics. This is when we don't exist, attention, no comprehension. I'm saying my business passion, my work is track in the middle. I'm being big radio full of trash, got clear my mind, independent, bitch, no one going hard. You feel my scene,
my girl. My girl. Karma. absolutely amazing. Love looks good on you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, let me introduce the world to you, because I mean, I know you, but so I learned some things about you as we're going through this process. I did not know, which makes sense, you know. Okay. So actually, you were born in Bahamas. You are Bahamian. However, you rep really hard. Carol City 305 in the building. Right. So I said she's a hip hop rap indie artist and a songwriter. She is well known for her eclectic, sexy style, very sexy style, and interesting. So an interesting flow of music. She's always had a passion for music. Ever since I've known you, I've known even before we knew each other, like knew each other how we knew each other now. Like you've always been in the game. As a matter of fact, you've been in the game for over 15 years. But of course, just in the last 5 years, kind of really been, been pushing it hard. And in the midst of all of that, you're a mommy to a beautiful preteen, back to school. She's like, oh no, that's my day. Tomorrow. Is she ready? She ready? She's ready.
I gotta do a hell when I leave, actually.
Yeah. But you know what? She's good. She's in good hands. So if you had an opportunity to work with any artist in the industry right now, who would it be and why?
3 Stacks.
Well, bitch, you didn't really
Andre 3000. Andre 3000.
Oh, that's the name. Andre 3000. Okay, all right. So why? What's about him?
He's so different. Okay. Like even Badu and him and Badu, like they're just so different.
Okay. What do you think he can bring out in you? What do you think he can bring to a track? Imagine sitting with him in the studio right now.
My deliverance.
Okay, all right. It's gonna be nasty. That's gonna be more passionate.
I think his delivery, the way he wordplay, like he ain't even got to say shit, but he's very, his wordplay is very unique, and that's what attracted me to him. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Plus his style, his fashion, whatever. Okay. But like he would be him and Chris Brown. Okay, those are my 2 favorites.
Bitch, that's an entertainer. A singer, sex symbol. You agree? I agree. My 3 Stacks.
Okay.
I want to work.
So, I'm your biggest fan. Like when I knew I was doing this show, I came to you and I said I want a track for my show, and I wanted to come from you.
You did.
I did.
You did.
I got to do it. Okay. You've been pushing hard 15 years. You kept this body. It's got finer throughout the years. So what is stopping you from really just saying, something? It's time. 15 years.
My age stopped me because I was feeling like distractions, period. Being a mom, 9 to 5. And then being a mom, a 9 to 5, relationships, it all was distracting. So I felt as I was getting older, time was passing. I had a couple, motivational. I have a great support system now. My friends are great. But like back then, it's like when I first started, I had a lot of distractions. And as time was going, I was like, I'm too old. I'm too old. If I sign, I'm only gonna have 5 years with them, and they're gonna push me to the side. Okay. So now I'm like, I don't want to regret it. So it's like either I go hard, and then Lil Duval just died, bitch. What? What you did at 41? You lied to me. Why I take the breakfast? How about the breakfast? So whatever it is, you go from that. So yeah. So I'm just like, before I regret it, let's try. Okay. And I mean, it's not even about the money. It's my passion. Absolutely. It runs in my family. You know what I'm saying?
I know. So let's talk about your brother, and I know you're a big supporter.
Yeah. Don Pagani, shout out to you.
Shout out to Don Pagani. Shout out.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of my brothers. Okay. So age kind of distracting me. Okay. So now I'm like, you know what? Let me go hard. Okay. And then I have other things that I'm trying to get into. I want to get into entertainment law as well and represent us. You know what I'm saying? So there's not a lot of female lawyers that represent us, so I can get behind the paperwork as well and push us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start going to school. Actually, next month I start school.
How did you know I'm late, bitch? I'm gonna set it right now. That is so exciting. Guys, sweetheart, all jokes aside, you know, we friends for real. Like, friend, I'm so proud of you, bitch. Like, if you did, level up. Level up. Hey. Level up, level up, level up. Level up. Level up. Level up, level up. Did it came out? Okay, you good. They look at that. They
yeah, but
yeah. So, you know, every artist kind of has a story, right? Something that drew them to the music, whether it's, you know, a domestic violence situation like we talked about with Christina that's driving her. What drove you to music? What about music made you be like, you know what? I think I kind of want to do it.
I think it's a feeling you get when you listen to it.
Okay.
It's like whether you home chilling, whether you frustrated, whether you know, get the kids driving you crazy and you go somewhere and put your headphones on and turn the radio on. It's a feeling that you get that gives you peace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then my mom was a singer in a 12-member group, bitch.
You lying. You lying.
12-member group in the Bahamas. My uncle has a one-man band in the Bahamas. Like, we have it in our family. And my brother rap, like, we have it in our family. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear something, I just, something click, and I'm like, God damn. And I download it.
Yeah.
You know, for years, I've like, let me download it and do something on it.
Right.
You know, whether I push it or not,
right.
I just got to get that verse out. You know what I'm saying?
So right now, what's really pushing you and driving you is you don't want to have any regret.
I don't want to have any regret because I could be something.
Yeah.
You know, whether I do it with music or behind the scene, I'm gonna accomplish what I accomplished. But I just like the music. It's I want to get that out. You know what I'm saying? So
I believe you, and you and I, you know my journey, you know my story. I'm making a lot of sacrifices because I'm at a place where I'm like you. I don't want to regret it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to a point where I'm like, I never really tried. So I don't know how it would. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that really touches me, and I'm super excited. So you are actually going to be releasing your new single, but I actually want to bring somebody on with you to talk to a little bit. You know this person a lot. So this person is actually going to be someone. It's actually someone that is on the track that you do the intro with, right? So you can see her vagina. What happened?
She needs to turn a little bit. We can't see her.
Oh, you can't see. Girl, make sure you don't see her cootie cat though. You want to pillow because she's sexy. So anyway, DJ, go ahead, play the song for me. For those of you that don't know the intro song, go ahead and play the song for me. That I do intro so they can actually kind of put the face to the voice out a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and introduce the second part of that song, and then we'll talk a little bit to her. She actually has something to do. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Go ahead. I'm a little thirsty. I'll break your party. So I want to be kind of a little bit on your part. We got people in the background doing it. Yeah!
There you go. Let me get a couple undone. Whole crew bad, check it, come and get some. False beat, yeah, Gucci, how you head from? They ain't checking for me, come and got another one. Sliding on the model, sun, red, copy roll light. Going in the club by the pass out. VIP on fleek, baby, shot out. Spotlight on the pool.
All right, so that's the part. And there's another part to that. Yes. And we're going to introduce that artist as well. Yes. And then we're going to talk to her a little bit, and then we're going to have you reveal to the world your new song. You okay with that? All right, so this next artist is also someone that I'm really excited to kind of talk about and interview because she is the second part of the song that you guys collab on. You guys actually worked together for quite some time. Thank you.
Maybe so nervous.
You guys have been together for quite some time. Yeah. So, guys, I would like to introduce you to the second part of the my theme song. An artist that is an up-and-coming artist. She's right here from Miami. Guys, welcome to the stage, Miss Cam. Woo!
He's actually watching. Bobby Shane, like what's up to you? Our City Office Shane Productions. We see you.
That's what's up. Yeah. So, careful, guys. Oh, go ahead, put that part.
When I get to baby mama knocked off, same thing the mess the rest of the knocked off. Grip on my ass, something you can feel no feel how you can take off the real hoe.
And then come over. Hey, that's a collab. That's a collab. So guys, thank you. First of all, thank you so much. You know how much this project is near and dear to my heart. So to have someone that is family, for reasons you guys know, and you guys being a part of this journey as well, it catapulting both of you guys to kind of really get into, you know, your passion. Like this is a really special moment to me. So thank you. All jokes aside, off camera, you know I really mean that shit. Campbell, let me introduce you to the world. So Cam she's an up-and-coming female artist whose music describes fantasies, turmoil, and hardships lived through her life. She's from live poetry readings to open mic freestyles. She's from a family that is of Jamaican descent, a little bit of Chinese, mother shit talk about that. You can always expect a raspy, catchy effect to her music. Many features with artists known as Karma Sims, so she's on a lot of your stuff as well. And she's known for her punchlines and creativity amongst the two. I'm gonna kind of, and your mixtape is actually working on right now. We're gonna get a little bit of a little sneak peek on it. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm excited as well. So, welcome, boo. I want to kind of throw the same question at you. If you had an opportunity to work with any artist, what would that artist be involved? It could be female or male. Whoever. Like, what do you? If you could just jump on a track right now and kill it, and know that it would just absolutely slaughter what's going on, who would that artist be? Joelle Santana. Really? I love Joelle. Always loved Joelle. Joelle Santana. You have to elaborate on that because I didn't get that.
The reason why, okay, like you said, the wordplay and so forth. I mean, you know, Dipset always had their, you know, funny little songs and this and that. But when it came to people who really sat down and listened to underground music, like mixtapes and so forth, he was like the king of that. Like, besides him, do you listen? No. I mean, like I said, it depends on where you come from as well. Because, you know, sometimes we actually do support our people. Yeah. And sometimes we don't. So, I mean, I'm raised from here, but I still listen to a lot of New York. And a lot of Philly. Yeah. And so it comes into my music as well. Okay. So, yeah, like Joel's, Cassidy, like different people. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I still like my Jackie over tripping. But at the same time, I want it all to show in my music where it came from. Right. Joel's, yeah. That's it. That's like Wayne. I didn't expect that from you. Yeah. That's like Wayne. I didn't expect that.
So now, just like with Karma, right? I came to both of you guys. You guys are absolutely, for me, my biggest fan. Because, you know, I'm a 80s, 90s hip hop chick. Like, I'm about the Little Kim back in the days. Like the original shit, the stuff that we really, right,
favorite CD ever.
The stuff that we can really appreciate. And when I listen to you guys' music, I yell all the time, like, bitch, why I can't find no more downloads? Like, what's going on here? Yeah. I holler at you. I get mad with you. I'm sorry. All the time. We actually are supposed to be in the studio ourselves to do a little collab. We want to talk about that. I know. Sorry. But you know, I talk all the time about how much I, you know, really like. You guys are like. You're good. I'm not bullshitting you. There's a lot of artists out there that are okay. You guys are good. And you look good. What the fuck is taking you so long to get it going?
Okay, can I say my defense?
All right, you never say it.
Hey, okay. Right. With me, I could be honest. I've always done like poetry and stuff like that because I was always in my feelings. Like, oh, blue skies, blue eyes. But like she said, the music. Like you guys, remember we used to have tape players. This is before we had CD players. You remember when Timberland and the Blue album came out? And I had it done. So my sister would have it and she'd make a double-sided tape for me. And I, like, you know, you're supposed to be
side A and side B. Y'all know that? Side A and side B.
And I'm supposed to be playing four square and double that. And I'm sitting there going, love to love you. Hey. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, if he could do it, I could do it. And I always lock songs and play with it. And then I'm like, is that how they do it? Okay. So it's like I always learn, okay, how many bars? And then of course, and after a while, I started and learning in school, people were doing like battles. You know, you beat on the table. Got it. With the pencils and stuff. Yeah. And there was no girls. It's never girls. Wait, okay. It was never girls. Okay. It was always dudes. You know they do the 1 in a million? Yes. And I remember I used to always come up. Cam on the floor, and everybody used to be like, so you used to freestyle on it? Yeah, but it's like we were doing it playing around. Okay. Like, you know, like now how they say, what are those? Okay. You know, back in the day, we used to say, look at your whole ass. Yeah. Okay. Now, how this came into it with the actual taking music serious, I could be honest, I've never really taken myself serious. And it was the fact that I was with her at the studio here and there, and I'd say a lot of things like to inspire her, like do it this way, right? Do it that way, right? And then she looking like, well, bitch, you do it, right? and then I'm like, and then she's a beast. What it is with me, I didn't have confidence as an artist because of my voice. Okay, I don't have that. She wrong. No, she wrong. No, I have. Listen, okay, I'm famous for it. It's not funny. You call Cam and then you sleep. Because I sound raspy as a person. That's sexy shit. That's the best voice. Yeah. But now I've come to see Tony Braxton got it. Yeah. Randy got it. Yeah. Randy. But so it's like I hear myself, and you know, you don't like hearing yourself at first. Like, yeah, I feel you. But first time with this booth, I was mumbling. Now I like it so much when it hits the beat. I feel like the artist that I'm trying to compare myself to. Okay. So if I can play my track and it's a rough draft, and I see how excited you guys get about it, we're gonna play. It makes me feel like, hey, okay. So that's what I'm getting into now. Okay. And all the chopped up things that I never completed, she motivated everybody, people like you, everybody motivated me, like, stop going over it and believe in yourself, just push it. Yeah. Because it's bullshit on the radio, so ain't much competition. Hey, make no mistake, put a hoe, I feed up on your head.
All right, guys, so I'm going to share with you a little snippet, and I thank you so much because you're such a perfectionist. This is wrong, but I loved it. It's a rough track. It's a rough track. So go ahead and introduce your little rough track.
It's just a freestyle, and it's off Bobby Shea, off Shea Records, and it's What's Beef.
All right, let's hear it out.
Niggas can't catch up. Already started. First, bring up first, leave them really funny. Grimy shit for me compared to get naughty. All that shit you rap and keep compared to my body. Sip flow down on my body. I saw my young niggas Friday, so don't even start it. Got a monkey on my back, so I'm back. I'm twisted out, I'm thinking purple shit, I'm smoking on red. Never focus on hate. Sorry for the violence, heavy violence, all violence and knowledge that bitch on the place. To pick on the face. They want to be face, put your face on personal hit. The forest, is the kind of mob in the race. I ain't worried, step early with this shit, I got the game. Hear me, bitch, we ain't the same. Block, paint your face, make the ass remember my name. I got the fame, I'm on fire. Your bitch was washed up, the game is mine, you need to be tired. You say you're on your job, but you beat the ass will be fired. I'm on my own shit, I never label me a movie. My name is acting, but my feelings look like a movie. I'm thinking about my shit, consider me to the niggas. I say every person feel like a movie. When they winning for losing, they go down in the street.
That was amazing. So shout out to producer. I know you've been
Arthur Shane, Bobby Shane.
Yeah, Bobby Shane. So Big Daddy. Bobby Shane. Yeah. Listen, Bobby, I absolutely think I need to have you on here because I need to know what else you want.
Yeah, Bobby Shane. Bobby Shane.
Yeah, you got these two dynamite ladies in the building. Like you have, I mean, you don't even do nothing else.
Oh, you haven't seen
yeah.
Yeah. Steps in the building.
Oh, there's more. Yeah. So this is your moment. You ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
You sure you ready? You want to stand up and do it? You want to sit down and do it? What do you want to do? You want to pause? You want to pause? Yeah, go ahead, get it. Get show the legs. So I'm going to give Mrs. Carmen Sims the stage right now to officially introduce her world debut. Go on, Miss Carmen.
This is my debut off the EP I'm working on, the re-up.
All right. And DJ, drop that track.
Yo.
Okay. Beats. Mommy Shane, your beats, my nigga. You went to make it on me,
Sometime I'm from the industry. Had a bag of chick that was feeling me. Now we history. We making history. I got one white, one seed, whole enchilada. Time to take flight. Get the bag, chill on the harbor. Is it me? These rappers excuse me. Now it isn't. I question hip hop. Then it just come and bring back the vision. Is it me? But I'm carried on my phone. Want me to control, grab your microphone, karma. She with it. The trash and I'm business. Had to fall back in their feelings. The fuck in the kitchen. I'm coming for your jugular. She got it. About to tear it up and watch it for a minute. Ain't seen nothing. Finish her. It's cool. I get it. Tenderonis a lifetime. Who want to be a millionaire? You're out of life blind. With the same folks. Head buster 16. I have your mind. Don't care if you raise. I ain't danger. Get the paper. Have several seats on the mission. Tear it up. I got it. They want it. My check. I own it. First place. My soul is dangerous. Let's run it.
Oh my God, Karma! Karma! I helped you guys! Get your back. We back. She took a pause now. Don't get it twisted. She took a pause. I'm not saying her talent is back. She always had that, but she's back. Yeah, she paused a little bit. That's more coming. That is, let me tell you something. Karma, you have a hit. Yeah, you have a hit. Okay, so inspiration behind it. Well, first of all, I thought it was Jamaican. I'm like, oh, bitch, you gonna reggae or maybe? No. You said no, but
I think Jamaican music has kind of died down. Really? If you listen to the radio and on TV, Afro beats are coming in. That's Janet Jackson just did her. She just debuted her song with Daddy Yankee. Afro beats, like that's coming in. So I was like, damn,
God, that was a hot track. I'm so sorry. That was really good.
That's some kind of channeling different. You know what I'm saying? I get on. I could kill a trap beat, but I don't want to go trap.
No,
I don't want to do what Miami doing right now. I want to do ATL. Right. So I said, let me take it to another level.
You have.
Like that.
Level up. Hey. Level up.
I'm not.
Well, I want to congratulate you. Thank you. I want to thank you.
Like for having me, having us. You know what I'm saying? This is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this motherfucker is a beast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like for having us on, we thank you for, you know what I'm saying, letting us debut. Maybe we want to do some behind the scenes or something.
Yeah. Listen, we have some amazing things lined up for the TV takeover. As you know, My Life Raw Real All the Way Live is just one of the programs on here. Yeah. But we're going to be expanding. We're going to be having different shows. We're going to be having a show that's going to be just for artists because that's how passionate I'm about it. We're going to be doing a documentary coming up. I have one of my guests. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. Listen, I want you guys to not go anywhere too far because I want you guys to come back on for our panelist question. Where on our panelist question, we're going to be touching on some taboo topics, and I really would like your opinion. Okay. All right? Thank you so much for coming on this podcast. All right, so coming to the stage. I want to watch you go home. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, girl, I'm a perfect. I know. Yeah, I'm a perfect. I want to see you. I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you. Okay. All right, guys. So we're gonna move on to our next segment. So of course, as you know, this whole show is about I am an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. So I am really really honored to actually have these two women with me today. One of the women that's actually with me is someone that is very well known in the poetry. I can't even believe that she made the time to actually come and sit with me. And in our introduction into kind of getting her on the show, I learned so much about her that I realized that she is actually someone that I want to have a personal relationship with and be involved with for a very long time. So guys, if you could please join me in welcoming to the stage two of my artists in the poetry world, Miss May Ray and Miss Esprit. Yes. Thank you. Hey, the pipes. You wearing the pants, man. They wear me, baby. Yes. All right, so let me go ahead and kind of introduce the world to you guys. Like, there are so many different dimensions and dynamics to you. So I'll start with you, May. So May, she is actually known as one of South Florida's most popular or powerful female poets. She was actually born and raised right here in the county of Dade. Real proud again. She is loved and embraced by her community in an enormous way. Her following is in the thousands, yet somehow you're able to reach many of them on a very personal level. Myself being included, taking the time to be here with me, I'm so blessed for that. With vulnerability and undeniable individualism, she takes you on a colorful carpet ride with poems that mirror her journey of honest self-discovery, which I talk about all the time. She is candidly open about love, her views of God, civil rights, or the absence thereof. Her stands for LGBT rights, her same-sex marriage. Yes, I said it. She has a wife. That's right, baby. That is coming on to this show and will beat your motherfucking ass. Okay? As well as her battle with childhood depression. Wearing single motherhood as a badge of honor, May Ray is determined to transcend the boundaries that society has set for her. She is limitless, which I'm excited for you to kind of share a little bit about how you're able to be so empowered in that way to help more women feel that way. Describing herself as a woman in human disguise, we are soon to see why May Ray is sure to become your favorite library superhero. Speaking of some of the things that she's done, in 2011, she has published her book, My Right to Live in Love, a collection of poetry that reflected a younger version of herself, as she beautifully described the world as she saw it from where she stood. The Sound of Silence is your second release that was published in 2014, which is also poetry, in which you kind of go deeper into somewhat of a kind of autobiographical way of you yourself, giving readers a front row seat to your very complicated life. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about how it's really changed you and shifted you and transcended you. And I want to actually dabble on, remember that post I commented on? Yes. I want to dabble on that a little bit. Yeah. So guys, welcome May Ray. First of all, I gotta be honest, I want to have a vulnerable moment right now. So you know there's a lot of photoshopping and shit going on Facebook, right? People, you think they're really attractive, you think they're beautiful, and I just don't even believe it anymore until I see them in person. Okay. You know, your pictures were flawless. Like, you are absolutely beautiful. I'm like, nah, she probably got about 3 filters. I ain't gonna lie. When I saw you in person, I was like, no, those pictures owe her something. You are absolutely beautiful. You are stunning, guys. All those pictures, everything that you see, it's actually a lie. She's more beautiful in person. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I just want to say one thing. What? Don't have skinny bitches all before me. I'm sorry. Don't do that. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? It's a burden. Anybody else? She made all of us. She made newborn. Wait, listen, and I got one on. Oh, I'm you know, so my bad. My bad. Right. Let me know next time so I can tuck. Right. Well, you know, you are a beautiful black queen. One of the things that I really like about what you do on your Facebook page and is you motivate, but you keep it real. And you have to find a balance between keeping it real, like, bitch, you're fucked up. Yeah. You find a way to be able to tell them that, but at the same time, but I love you. Yes. And they accept it and they embrace it and they share it. There's one post I think that you shared within minutes. It was shared, hundreds of people just shared it. So talk to me a little bit about how that version of you came about.
I started my page, I think like everybody else, around 2009. And so Facebook kind of allows you to evaluate yourself because you can see who you were in those moments. And for me, I reflect a lot. I use Facebook to say, what was I talking about in 2009?
Okay.
Who was I in that time? Like, was I hurt? Sometimes you see things and it's like, oh shit, that's a memory that I don't need to see. Delete and untag me.
Right.
Right. But I also realized from watching, you know, other people evolve that sometimes if you say that you are a mother, you know, now I got to show you my kids every day. You know what I'm saying? In order to be a loving mother, I got to show you my kids every day. If I tell you that I am an activist, then I got to do activism in every post. You know what I mean? And I started to see how we were also judging each other based on what we post. Like if I don't post and I'm making candles, bitches really be like, do you still make candles? You know, if I don't post a microphone to my mouth, like, do you still do poetry? Because we began to judge each other on, you know, on this social media thing. And I made a decision that I was not going to be boxed in.
Okay.
I am who I am. And that came from just being able to watch my growth and understanding that, listen, don't play with me because you was hurting too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't talk about me posting my feelings. You was just damn near jumping off the first floor too.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so it brought me to a place of self-awareness where, and just my journey, you know, nobody's been there all the time but you.
Yes.
And that's the only person that I am truly accountable to.
Yes.
Is me. I gotta make this bitch proud.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
And so with that being my mantra, you know, just wanting to make sure that I honor myself at all times, I write exactly what I'm feeling. You know, if I'm feeling, I love my wife. You know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
From my posting of that, I don't like when my friends, that's right, we gonna be matching. I don't want a bunch of random people requesting her on social media.
I think that's when we first kind of met because there was a situation where there was some bitch that jumped on Nancy's Instagram and liked some shit from September 2017. And I wanted to know, bitch, like, why you scrolling so far back? What's going on with my bitch from September 2017? And now you requested this bitch and you better not.
Exactly. That's how. Yes, that's right. That's what we bonded. Yes, we know. We want slow.
Right.
You know,
Right.
That's where we bonded.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay, I like her.
Right.
Because I know that number one, she respects relationships.
Right.
And that's how you kind of see how people move, even though we don't know everybody personally. But if you honor and respect the shit you in, then it's very likely that you're gonna honor and respect what I'm in.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So,
I agree. I agree. Let's clap it up! I was talking to you before, right before we were about to get on air, and I said to you that I was a little bit ashy. And you came over to me and you started to do, did you have yourself, can I get a butter? Okay, so you started to do something.
I did.
And I was like, and I was like,
She gets ashy a lot.
Oh! That's right. She's right. That's right. She's right. That's good friend. She's right. So and you started to bring something to me. We kind of ran out of time. I was like, you know what? Just bring it on the show.
Yes, you did.
So and actually, so that's what my bestie was actually talking about. Oh,
she purchased already.
Yeah. So clearly, what you have is good shit. Because my friend is bougie like me, so I'm a look like I'm doing this one. What's going on? And what is that? Explain that. So you gave it. Just walk me through it.
Okay. So I started a company in 2011 called Moonflower Essentials. Okay. At that time, it was actually Moonflower Candles. I was only making candles. Okay. That company came about because I was a single mother. I was broke as hell.
Okay.
And I just, with the alignment of the universe, I started to make candles. You know what? I'm going to move because when I come across you know what I'm saying? Okay.
What? Why you snitching, baby? Why you snitching, best friend? Best friend, why you snitching? I was trying to get off the leg, off the sweater.
Yes. All right. Started the don't hit them back. Okay, she's back. We're back. We live. Started the company with the candles 2011. It pulled me from a very deep, dark place. Okay. I used meditation during that time, and I started to make candles that align with what I was trying to manifest at that time.
Okay.
So that's what my candle line is about, manifesting, right? And so recently, last year, I started to get more into skincare because I started to notice if you are just walking down the street, black don't crack. We all know that, And so you look at Auntie, right? And Auntie's looking amazing, okay? Because her skincare regimen is on point, right? Yeah. But then you go to the high schools and you look at the girls that are 18 and they looking 45.
True. I had that conversation right back. Talk about all
right. Yeah. And so the thing is that we're not repeating what we've been taught with hydrating our skin. I saw my grandmother into skincare with all of these creams and all these things that like, what is that all over your face? Right. Going to bed with those things that they needed to. And we've gotten away from that. So I wanted to bring it back. Okay. Right? So that me and my friends are not ashy. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And that includes you, boo. Okay. So I brought some things with me. All right. So this is my Love Again body butter bar. Okay. So what you do is you take it and you put it in your hand. It's an actual bar. It's not freaky. So, well, I can't say that because you can smell it. Wow. And so you can either rub it directly.
And that's the part that when you said to me, I was like, wait, what do you mean? That looks like a candle. What I'm rubbing? Like, I was confused.
Right. So I'm going to gloss you up. Okay. And so you rub it in. It's really nice. A little bit goes really far. Listen, I'm not here for it. She already know I'm scared. So I ain't even got no worries. So you rub it in, or you can rub it in your hands. Okay, you want to try one? Yep. You can rub it in your hands.
You guys can smell it, right? Yeah. So my 2 oranges is all saying that they can actually smell it from where they are. So you really, if you don't have no perfume that day,
right?
You can rock out with this.
Yes, you can definitely do this. So this is going to keep your skin hydrated, moisturized. I have people that use it throughout the day. If they have typing jobs where their hands get dry, you wash your hands a lot during the day. Nurses that wash a lot during the day. And so they just use it to rehydrate their skin.
I'd like to. You like to? Yeah. Go ahead. Add it to the cash app. So all of your links actually should be coming up right now. For those that want to purchase your product, they will be able to see that right now and get in touch with you. But this smells amazing. Thank you so much. Yes. But you know what? Okay. Well, so it's gonna. She doesn't know this is intervention. This is the Esprit intervention. Okay. Hey, boo. No, actually, so Esprit, I'm actually really excited to have you on here. So I met you. It was weird because we kind of like would be at functions and kind of see each other, but we realized we kind of like the same things, like the same kind of woman, clearly. Jody, watch it. What? But yeah, I started to know more about you through this journey, and when I invited you here, and I started to kind of get find out a bit more about you deeper. So let me just first introduce you to the world. So Esprit, which she, by the way, made sure that I knew how to pronounce her name. She was like, Jody, excuse me, it's Esprit. That's right.
This you sound.
I mean, I ain't mad. Let me fucking don't even go time. Anyway, so Esprit began writing and performing as a therapeutic release during a very low point in her life, and that's kind of what I want to talk a lot about because you're not alone with that. She continued to write because it turns out her words not only have the power to heal herself, but also the power to positively affect others. And those of you that are, readers and know or understand the importance of giving,
It's extremely important in your own leveling up in life. This is why she has ultimately chosen to be an educator, so that's something that you do as well. Did you start Monday? You started Wednesday.
Actually, I work at a boarding school, so I start on Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, coming up. This Wednesday. You started this Wednesday, okay. She loves using art as a platform to reach the masses and feels she'll be writing, performing, sharing, and creating for years to come.
That's right.
Guys, introduce. So I know this is gonna go off topic, but I know that she has this what's this crochet hearing right now.
Yes.
Girl, Esprit is.
Why you gonna tell my
No, I'm just saying. I want to know about your real hair.
Y'all thought this was real.
I thought it was real. If they follow you, they're gonna know your hair is lit. You have beautiful hair. I just want to say that. So I want to talk a little bit about, because I did not know. I kind of felt it because a lot of people, when you see women or when you see people in general become so passionate about something, it's something behind it that's driving it.
I'm passionate about everything.
Yeah.
I feel everything.
So you said that when you got thrusted into the art world and the poetry world, it was to help you to kind of heal and go through stuff. Would you mind talking a little bit about what kind of happened and what made you use that as a vice?
Yes. Actually, it's so funny because you have May Rain and I on the same show. I call her my poetry fairy godmother. My first time ever performing, I was depressed, suicidal. Really? And I was just writing down my thoughts. And I never really thought that I would be expressing those feelings to other people because I'm very private. I'm very open, but I'm private at the same time. It's a weird mixture. Like, I tell you what I want you to know.
Absolutely.
So I was dealing with some family issues, and I was grieving the death of my parents, and I was in a really low place. And May had this event called Ink Therapy. And one of my friends read one of my poems, and she was just like, "You should perform this." And I was like, "Perform poetry? Like, how do you do that? You just get up and read it?" Like, so then she told me, like, no, she showed me some spoken word stuff, and then I had previously seen May at Thou Art Woman, another event. Yeah. And I was like,
which, by the way, they had a great opening yesterday. You were at that yesterday. That was absolutely amazing. Shout out to Nikki, girl. That was an amazing opening.
I was like, this woman is amazing. So I just said hello in passing. One of my friends is trying to get me to put on that. Whatever, it's a long story. Anyway.
May wife, it's okay. Don't beat her. She know that. She know. I wish you good. I don't want to have no problems.
I don't know. So I went to the event, and I was very, very nervous. I performed a piece called Scars about my birth mother and like me, like allowing myself to be open to love. And I did it, and I sat down because I was very, very shy, and I was unsure and didn't have a lot of confidence. And the amount of love I got from that show is what made me continue to write. And so every time I felt down or depressed or I felt angry because I'm passionate about everything, I just wrote it down. And then eventually I stopped writing it down. I would just be driving in my car and I would feel convicted about something and I would just start talking. And then I would record it into my phone, and most of my poems I haven't even written ever. I just say them, I remember them, and then I recite them in front of people. Wow. And so that's where I am now, and I'm still growing. But I really appreciate that event because it allowed me. I went back a couple of times, and it gave me like the nerve to go out to other venues. And then May will call me every once in a while because she's so busy. Right. Being Superwoman. Right. Like, look. So these people call me for this show, but I'm booked. So they said they needed a dope poet, and I thought of you. Are you available? And I'm like, well, thank you for thinking of me. And so a couple of shows that I've gotten is because she's called me. So every time she calls me, I make sure I answer them. But I can go to the toilet, and I'm like, yes.
So I did not know this until this very moment. So it is crazy how the universe had both of you guys. Yeah. You see how the universe works? I want to talk a little bit, just a little bit, because when we do our cabinet section, we're going to have some time to kind of elaborate. So you actually put out a post. Okay. And because you know the post that I'm talking about, I'm going to ask you to just kind of summarize it because it's long. Summarize kind of what it is that you're talking about, and then we're going to kind of stop there because then I want to bring on the rest of my guests, and that's when we're going to open up our panel section. So the next part of the show, segment of the show, guys, is our panel section where we actually discuss some really taboo topics, but you get a chance to have all of my guests all on one stage kind of talking about it, okay? So I'll let you kind of set the precedent, and then we'll go ahead and have my guests come on back on, okay?
Okay. So the post was, you know, I do a lot of healing sessions with women. I do a lot of women's empowerment events. And so in these spaces, we're very open with each other about what's going on in the world, what's going on with love. And I just started to notice, you know, when you see a woman in particular, and you know, people are always like, that goes both ways. I can deal from where I am, from what I, you know, where I sit and what I see, okay? And so a lot of times, women are just hurting. Yeah, we're just hurting. Where, you know, you're walking around and you see women, you don't know their stories, but you know that this is a broken masterpiece.
Right. Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so in these healing sessions, in these healing circles that we're a part of, it just started to impact me.
Okay.
The pain.
Okay.
You know, all of the trauma that we have to go through as women trying to love. And not just trying to love people randomly. You know what I mean? You see that psycho stuff sometimes. But most of the situations that we know that have gone sour is a person wanting to reciprocate what this person said that they wanted. Right? And so I'm not just grabbing you and becoming infatuated with you. I am listening to what you tell me. Right, that you want from me,
right,
and I'm trying to reciprocate that to you, right, and then at some point it starts to make me feel damaged. It starts to hurt rather than heal me. It starts to traumatize me, and I am simply trying to be this broken masterpiece. We come into this space as two cultures. I know that you come from your background and I come from mine, but why is it that me loving you is hurting so badly?
Okay, all right. And on that note, if I could have all of my guests back on the stage, we got some questions and some topics to talk about. Go ahead, Carmen Sims.
Well, let me
Let's go. Yes. All right, I'm gonna have my rappers in the back. You guys can go okay with me in the back? All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, how's this gonna work?
You got all this one right there. You got all this one right there. You okay? You okay?
Yeah, we'll go because she got to go down with the pressure. Yeah,
she what you trying to? Okay, I'm gonna be good so far.
Probably not really.
I'm gonna do the move thing, but okay. All right, so I'm not quite sure if you guys heard the question. All right, so let's just the last sentence. Why is it that? Oh shit! God damn it!
I got you.
Oh, why is it that trying to love you hurts so bad?
Yeah.
Okay, so that part. Perfect, right? So domestic abuse situation, domestic violence situation. Why does me loving you hurt so bad? When did you find yourself in a place where you realized that you no longer wanted it to hurt you? And you realized that it's not supposed to hurt you?
When I realized it, truth be told, I realized it with my kids.
Okay.
I looked at them and I was like, no, I don't want them to think that this was a sense of normalcy, like this was love.
Right.
So it was more of, I had to look at them and kind of reflect back on it and be like, this, I don't want my son to be somebody that does this to a woman. I don't want my daughter to be with a man that starts hitting on her and she thinks that's a form of love.
Right.
So I had to look at that situation and look at myself and say, no, this isn't enough. I have to love myself.
Right.
First of all, my kids need to understand what love is.
Right.
So if they don't see that happening in my life, they're going to continue that in their life. And I had to break that cycle immediately. So it was like a done deal.
Yeah. Awesome. So May, I just so we can go to the next set of questions. What is your advice to those women?
You know what? Me and my wife have had several conversations in the beginning before we were married, just about our past, about Thank you so much.
With orange,
with
apple juice. It's just a little red, but it's apple juice.
Apple juice.
With Hennessy, guys.
No. Y'all know I represent Ebenezer Baptist. Oh God. So back to your question. Okay. We live. Wait, no, y'all had your turn. Listen, and let me tell you. Okay, before I answer that question. Okay. This is hip hop.
Yeah.
To know me is to know. I don't know this about me. I don't know what I project to people. I don't give a shit. But I am a hip hop head.
Yeah.
Like I love good hip hop. Like I was there for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From my friends were listening to different things that I couldn't really get into, but I was on hip hop. Like I was on EPMD and MC Light and Eric B and Rakim and Nas and all of these different people that helped shape me during these dark points in my life. And I understood how powerful hip hop is. Like Badu says, it's bigger than religion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and so the healing and what they got going on, like I'm here for it. She know because we've been having these conversations for a long time via Facebook. Like I want them to win.
Yeah.
I want them to win. Because it's worth it. It's not just garbage. It's not just something this is something to make me think, right? You know what I'm saying? So I need dope music in my life. So
shout out to dope music.
All right. So advice that I would give people. Okay. My wife and I had many conversations before we were married, right? About the trauma that we have both experienced in relationships. Okay. And the thing that she would say that would always stand out to me is that I come from a broken place and I had to love myself so that I could love you. Yes. And as simple and as cliche as it may sound, we are seeking out, people seek you out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now we have people that can watch you through Facebook. And so they know if you are stable. Yeah. They know if you are happy. Yep. They know if you are loving and giving. They know how many children you have. They know if you like to travel. Yep. And people are looking for you just like con artists look for you. Yeah. And people are not ride or die. They are looking for a ride. Yeah. Yeah. You better preach. And so as much as we don't want social media to be a dating site, people are seeking you out. Yeah, they are seeking you out, and not even through Facebook all the time, but the energy that you project when they tell you about their brokenness. Yeah. Like, there are people that will tell you these sob stories when they meet you, right? Because they want you to help them. It does not mean that they are in a place. We came into our situation saying, what is it that you want from this? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And how can we heal together? How can we grow together? How can we get money together? Hey. How can we build together? Yeah. And those were the conversations. It's not just like I'm broken, right? You broken, right? And I'm gonna bring all of that into the situation, and we just gonna take some good dope pictures on Facebook. Yeah. I mean, we do take good dope pictures. You do. We do. That's my bad. Yeah. And we dress alike. I don't know who her hair just is. Listen, that's don't shit. Listen, and she don't care, okay? Rain, sleet, she's going, or snow. She is going to Novelette. Yes. This woman has been doing her hair for 14 years. Wow. Shout out to Novelette. Novelette at Breezy's Hair Salon. I mean, her stuff. Yes, okay. She does that hair, and if she needs her to, she'll come in on her off day.
Nice.
You know, my wife has a really demanding schedule.
Right.
And so, you know, it's like she needs somebody that's dependable, right?
Right.
And so even things like that, you know, are attractive to me. And I drew that into my life.
Right.
You know, I'm a simple girl. I'm a plain Jane girl. I'm not really into, you know, a lot of things that other people are into, but I do know what I deserve.
Right.
And I wanted somebody that was, you know, there's no such thing as perfect, right? Because imperfections are really beautiful and perfection is really boring, right? But I wanted somebody closer to being healed than what I had experienced in the past.
I like how you put
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody closer to being healed.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with demanding that. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? You're a little too broken for me.
Yeah.
And that long term. At this age, I'm not in this for just a couple of minutes.
Right.
I'm gonna do this, only motherfucking not.
Right.
So I'm gonna
listen. And you know, if you've ever heard of, if you're familiar in any way with programs for drug addiction, okay, for alcoholism, they will tell you you cannot be hanging around junkies thinking that you're gonna be on your journey to heal. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be rocking with you and all your brokenness. Like I'm doing the work, and I need you to be doing the work, and now we can roll together. So she was definitely about that. Definitely about building. I have been with people who told me, "You just do the most." You do the most. And I'm talking about people that are with you, that you think are in this love with you, right? You just do the most. You need to decide, you know, are you gonna make candles? Are you gonna do poetry? Are you gonna publish books? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna do all of the above.
Listen to me.
I'm gonna do all of the above. All of the above.
Everything. And so everything that I say to her, you know, babe, I think I want to, and before I can even, her first gift to me was a 50-pound box of wax.
Wow.
That was her first gift. That was her sowing a seed into my business.
I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend because actually I can appreciate that. I can appreciate a woman that she really taps into the things that are truly important to my soul.
Yes.
Woo. Woo. And, you know, she'll see a need for something or something that is lacking, something that I don't even realize it. And then I see an Amazon package come and she looks at me and I know when she doesn't open it right away, I'm learning. And then she put on the table and she sent him that. You know, and the recent one was I got a new phone and she knows how much I needed a protective phone. My phone is extremely important in this industry. Like I need it. And she knows how important that is to me. And she got me an amazing case for that. And because I could be on that.
Yeah.
Shout out to my baby.
Yeah. Shout out. They play an important role in the life of a business woman. They really do. Because people tell you that relationships won't work when you're an entrepreneur. That I watched a whole special on that about how relationships suffer when you are in your business. You know, and so shout out to the partners that are there for everything.
I agree. I so agree with you. I think that it is important that you have two people that are genuinely passionate about each other's happiness. I am passionate about her happiness, so I do everything to ensure that with the business that we're growing on her future party, that she's doing, that she is supported, that she has everything that she needs, that she has the space to be able to just be who she is, which is her craft.
Right.
Just do what you do, babe. I got you. You know, she does the same thing with me, so I agree.
Awesome. Yes.
So shout out to those good women that we got. Shout out to those good ladies. All right, so I got a couple of questions. Y'all ready? Yeah. All right, a couple of travel questions. Okay. How would you feel being with someone for 3 years and he still or she still has not introduced you to his mother? Not even just his mom, but has never met any of the family members. They live in a different state that your partner has been traveling to see them back and forth, but never invited you. How would you feel? Girl, sleep on that tea. Sleep on that shit. Like a side chick. That's what I said. Like, I think that she needs to, like, wake up and realize that, honey, you're trying to self-upgrade yourself from the status that he's put you in. I don't know. What you think?
I was in that situation
with
my husband.
That's right.
I was in that situation. Seriously. So it was like we was together, and at the time I was living in Miami. He had lived in Orlando. So I was traveling back and forth, never met the mama. The friends I knew because we went to the same high school, but that's normal. So it was like, we ain't never seen. I was like, when I'm gonna meet your mama? When I'm gonna meet? Wow. Yeah. But the other family knew about the baby mama he had the child with.
Wow. But so you were the one that was.
They didn't know about me.
You didn't meet them before you got married?
We did. Toward the end, when we got married, I met the family, but then the family was there before, and then it was like real suspect. Everybody's like, wait a minute, who is this? I just got a lady with a baby last month, and we met you. And it was like, and he telling them how I knew something was wrong, because it was like they had me in the room, and they getting ready to expose him and say something, and you see him going like, So when I confronted him about it, finally I went through his phone. I broke the code, broke the Google password. On the phone, and I was like, send it to my phone so I can see what's going on. And then that's when I seen all the messages with the baby mama saying, "Oh, we gonna take the kids to Disney World." And when he was telling me he was working a graveyard shift with security, he was going back home to her. And in the daytime, he would come back to me, so it was a double.
So he made you think he had an overnight job.
Right.
And his overnight job was in the baby mama coochie.
Exactly. What happened was I called the overnight job, and I was like, hey, is he here? They're like, no, he worked till 6:00 p.m. When I called, it was about 1:00 in the morning. Yeah. So that's when I was like, you know what?
It is.
It is. It is. And then during that time frame, it was like, okay, he's trying to make me look like I'm unstable, I'm fit, crazy, and I know it's not me. So then he like, oh yeah, right, exactly. So by the time that relationship came to an end, nobody knew we was together. Nobody knew. It was my set of friends, my family, my circle that knew. Yeah, and everybody suspected that he was really abusive.
This actually is a good segue for my next question. Y'all ready for this one? And I know you might relate to that. If you knew, child, I'm saying my heart races when I think about this question. Okay, if you knew your man or woman was cheating on you, and they were about to meet up with the other person. Thank you, Lord, for giving me a woman that don't do this shit. I am about that life going, and I will kill all of them. Listen to this Christ, I pray, amen. Okay. If you knew that they were meeting up with that person, would you crash it or would you just chill?
Crash that bitch.
Girl, what would you do? Sit this hand.
The type of person I am, I let it happen and just sit back in the cup with the lights off and just watch it play out. Okay. And then make my move. A couple weeks after, I just let it play out. I'm not gonna say nothing because you know what I'm saying.
Okay. So you wouldn't say anything at the time.
No.
Interesting.
I'm gonna let it play out.
Okay. Cam, girl, I already know, but go ahead.
Right, now you want to get it done. But no, like, I mean, like, I've done it before. What happens is, you crash it, right? But, like, you crash it hard, understand? Because then you see, the mannerisms of, can't talk right now, it's like, you can stay this shit, like, you know what I mean? You see the person like you. That's a whole different thing.
Seeing the person.
That's a whole different.
Yeah.
See, first you didn't want to go because you didn't want to see it, but now you have to believe it, and you're showing yourself. Don't bring no friend, don't bring no homie. You know what? You don't want to believe it? Go sit your ass at the table across from them, ask them questions, and you see them lie to you, but enjoy themselves.
Wow.
Now you gotta eat the cake when you go home.
Right.
So
right.
That's how I do it. Did it.
You crashed it. Okay. She said without a answer.
I'm asking wherever they are.
Okay.
The restaurant, the car.
Okay.
The car.
She's literally crashing it. Okay.
Like,
you think you would have read it afterwards?
Absolutely not.
Oh. So for those of you that didn't know, now you know.
You know.
Meg, what you doing?
Passionate. That's that passion.
Behind everything.
ice cream, popcorn, walks in the park, cashes not everything.
Right. It's like all or nothing. All.
No reward, right?
No, right. You know what? I think that.
We don't want to.
Listen, my wife already know. Okay. Though I can tell by the way she responds to compliments on Facebook. It'd be like, "Thank you, friend, in Jesus' name. Thank you so much." Amen. Bless you. Be blessed.
Yeah.
Because I be like, who the fuck is Mother Jones?
Right. I am non-discriminatory when it comes to the ass whooping. I don't give a fuck.
Listen, third grade teacher, I don't know. She don't believe that you want to do like that.
She was all my third grade teacher. I
No, she don't believe in you wanted me. No,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Okay. So I kind of know,
Right.
you know, it's like it's two-sided.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because on one hand, you do want to see it play out,
Right.
and see how far. But I know that I would just be feeding my rage.
Got it.
So I would probably only let it play out because I could like,
Yeah.
this bitch look happy.
Now the rage gets into it.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Right.
That's why I said not at the table for it. Close.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know you got the little space to
Right.
not throw a dish.
Right.
No?
Yeah. And I agree with her. Yeah.
Right.
So people looking like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you there, you just looking.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
See, this answer kind of tricky.
It is.
Listen, it's like you want before Jesus or after Jesus. Before. Okay. I'm real like hood. I grew up in North Miami. I done lived in so it's like everybody that knew me back then, I had a temper. I snapped. You couldn't let nothing get past me. And I'm the type, if that happened to me back then, I will meet the man at the house, lights off, be sitting in that room and wait for y'all. I'm not letting it play out.
You not letting
Ain't no play out. I want to see it and I'm gonna catch you again. So it's like after Jesus, it's like I'm gonna pray on it,
Okay.
meditate on it, let that sit, let God handle it. But back then, like
You didn't have it.
I had, man, I was quick, like 0 to 100. That's an understatement. I was gone.
Okay.
Gone. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. Ready for this one?
Okay.
What age do you think it is appropriate for your adult child to have sex in your home?
Wait, to have sex in your home?
Right now, our kids right now.
As an adult, let's say they're an adult.
If Ken would not turn 21.
No. Do you think there's ever an appropriate age for your adult child to have sex in your home?
No, I don't think so. I think now for me it's important as my kids are getting older. I really want them to abstain from that because I really feel like spiritually it's a lot of soul ties and stuff that you download from people. So if you keep connecting with different kind of people in your adulthood, you downloading different spirits, you downloading all kind of stuff from their past, negative and positive.
But in your house.
But in the house, but don't download it. That's what I'm saying. In the house, you bring other people in the house. That's what I'm saying. It's not gonna happen. Period.
It's always interesting to me to hear parents that didn't live by that code. Okay, number one. have that expectation for their children.
Yeah,
Okay?
you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Like it would be, oh my God, I would feel, I couldn't even look my kids in the face and say like,
Kim says none, they need to be married, by the way.
Well, here's the thing, okay? I don't want to know that you having sex nowhere. Okay. I don't want to know.
Okay.
Okay. I don't want to know. I have adult children.
Okay.
Right. But I know that they are.
Right.
And I know because me and my wife travel a lot.
Right.
And I know.
Right.
I know. I don't know where my grandson was made. Oh, I just got a feeling.
On your bed on the third day.
On a good hot Friday.
Yeah.
Very near to where, you know what I'm saying?
Right, where you ready to lay your head.
Where I lay my head.
That's interesting. My son is 21 years old, and we have a very different relationship. Right. That sometimes I regret because sometimes I know what I really want to have.
Right.
But I think, all jokes aside, I think it is important that your children are comfortable having those conversations.
Definitely.
Right. Because at the end of the day, kind of like you said, we did it. Right.
Right.
We did it, and if we maybe had better guidance with someone to tell us, hey, listen, I know you're having a home moment, but let me tell you about this home moment you're about to have. Make sure no matter what they tell you, you wrap it up. Okay? Or make sure that whatever.
I don't think it would have made much difference.
For you, because you're just going to be a hoe regardless. Or what?
You know, I can be very open and honest about this. I've had mentors in my life.
Okay.
I've had amazing people, and I think that a part of healing for mothers in particular is coming to the understanding that this temple, you can't stop it.
Yeah.
You do the best you fucking can.
Yeah.
That's all that you can do. Yeah. The best thing for a mother to understand is that you give guidance. Even when that door is open, because that door is open for my children, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's open. They know that they can talk to me. We don't, well, I think flush it, they, whatever it is, right?
Wait. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Right. Okay, we just say it.
I'm just saying. We can talk about a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I know a lot, but there are still things that I don't know. Because you are still in your human experience. It's still your journey.
Yeah.
And it's still things that you got to hold for you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, to tell them, to tell them like, look, because that was my expectation at one time. Like, you don't tell me everything.
Right.
I said you could.
Right. Yeah.
And so now I'm trying to project my openness on you.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think my son appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. I tell him all the time, like, my son, like, I'm your mom. Like, you have your situation. My son tells me all the time. She's like, Jody, your relationship with your son, sometimes I want to report you.
Right, exactly.
I'm doing too much.
Right.
Because I really do have that openness with him. Because I want him to come to me and tell me the nasty shit that he's kind of thinking about. So I can tell him, okay, listen, I know it's nasty, but if you do try it, be safe, or guide you, or guard your heart, or be mindful of that person's intention. I want my son to give me an opportunity to be able to have those conversations with him. So that's what I understand. All right, one more question. This is a big one. Actually, I talked to my son about this. Speaking of my son, he was like, "Mom, I need to leave the room when you do this one." So it's pretty. It's okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
If you were dating someone and everything was going perfect, and one day they said they wanted to tell you everything about themselves, and they said that 10 years ago they raped someone. They said they did it when they were a part of a gang, they regret it, and they would never do anything like that again. Would you continue or end because of his or her past? Ooh, that's I couldn't handle that. Okay. 10 years. Okay, guys, let me go back. We're talking about 10 years of innocence. Really?
Yeah.
That's all the person's character. Like I can't.
Would you with anyone that is married under any circumstances where they would violate somebody?
Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't.
People do change.
I can't say do, but depending on the situation, like how did you?
It's like knowing that somebody killed somebody.
Yeah.
Someone that
I probably would.
I
People
would
change. People change.
But there also are some situations that people just like to fuck with the wrong one and they get killed. Like, so speaking of, we actually are going to have an opportunity to interview some people in that situation. But there are definitely some situations where people have to either defend themselves or they were a part of something that required for them to choose out of their life or the next person. And it's sad because, you know, anytime you take someone else's life, unfortunately, you immediately are judged because of the fact you take someone's life. But in some situations, you know, it's sad to say that somebody's life probably needed to be taken.
Yeah. I mean, that, you know, those are the exceptions.
Those are but there's no self-preservation clause when it comes to rape. You better say it. There's nothing you can say that I needed to save my life by raping this person. And then somebody had a gun in your head and said, unless you rape him, I'm going to shoot you. But that's probably not. But who's calling it rape? True. Well, the person.
I mean, you have to know the circumstances of it.
Yeah, that was
You have to know the circumstances of it, of course. But I think that when these questions are posed, we're talking about the worst case scenario where you're talking about an intentional violation, ripping someone's clothes off. They're saying no, and they are violating them sexually. I couldn't.
So we have Sharpa Harper. Sharpa Harper, she said that people grow. I don't know if male or female.
She's female.
It's female. Okay. She says people grow. Can't say that I would stay with them, but I cannot say flat out that I would leave.
So I don't know. That's me is different because I've been in a situation where I've been raped, so that's a very touchy situation. So if somebody was to come out and tell me, I'd be like, bro, look, I can't. So I think it depends on the person's situation.
Have any of you guys been in a relationship for 10 years? Have any of you guys had a 10-year relationship?
I've had 7.5.
7? You've been with somebody for 10 years. Okay. The reason that I say that is because I've been in a 10-year relationship. Relationships have journeys and phases. And when Nancy and I are going through our 2-year phase right now where it's like, we're like, okay, where's all this passion and heat that we had in the beginning? Not to say that we don't still desire each other, but we're looking for that newness that we have, right? So we're going through that phase where we're trying to normalize what our life is going to look like forever, right? Not always going to be on the high, but just what it's going to be like forever, right? So I understand that relationship phase. So you have the 5-year phase, right? That, you know, 10 years is a long, I'm telling you guys, if you have not been in a 10-year relationship, and I'm not condoning it, you know, I can't even say right now how I would be able to handle that. But if I was to think of the person that I was with for 10 years, and if they came to me and said that to me, it would be a different conversation. You even think of a best friend. Think of any really good relationship you have with somebody for 10 years. It's a different level. It's a different level. Then people do change. And again, it's just me. People do change. People do evolve. I think right now we're thinking more of in the moment. Just hearing that. Like, you rape somebody? Of course it's horrible. Of course it's horrible. You know, and there's absolutely no justifying that. There's no soft-pedaling that. It is what it is. It's a tragic, it's a horrible thing that you do to someone. But you've known this person for 10 years. You've been in a relationship, a beautiful relationship with a person for 10 years. We've all had dark moments. We've all been through situations in our life where we've done things that we regret, that we may never speak, but we regret it. Why did it take 10 years?
Exactly. Well, and that's okay too. You said you've known this person for 10 years. I think the thing that I would struggle with, and I've left relationships before because of things that I would struggle with. You know what I mean? Not on that level, but just whatever it is, I'm very aware of what I can handle. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so for something like that, if after 10 years you come to me and say I violated another woman, okay, and I'm walking around doing women's empowerment events, and I'm dealing with women that have been raped, but I don't know that because I didn't know you.
Exactly.
I didn't know you. You know what I mean? there are people out there that do different things that they evolve from, and that is your journey. But I do not take that on as my journey.
Okay.
It's not, you know what I mean? So if you are a person that killed your mother and you evolved from that, I can't rock with you. Like I just that knowledge puts me in a different position.
Right. Now I feel like the kind of person that could.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And I agree
why
with
you
what
like
you
to
said.
choke me? Like now I'm thinking
No, you know what? This actually, we're gonna be closing out with that. First of all, thank you guys so much for coming here. We almost knocked out 2 hours. I've never had a 2-hour show, but you guys were so worth it. It was worth it. So I just want to say really quickly, we're gonna tap on it literally a smidgen. So I have a show coming up, speaking a little bit about what we talked about with this young man by the name of Stacey Lewis. I am super excited. Stacey Lewis actually was in prison for 21 years, guys, for a series of violent crimes, and actually one of his charges are murder. So he's actually going to be with me. We're going to be filming with him on September 16th. It's going to be a 4-part. It's literally that much. You know, I don't just want to show the part about his violence, but I want you to kind of hear a little bit about his beginning, his background. So just to give you a little sneak peek, just to let you know, this young man, before he was 12, witnessed the murder of his mother and his younger brother that committed suicide. Let me tell you, y'all ain't ready for this story, but he actually has a woman in his life right now. And one of the things I kind of wanted to, you know, ask you guys really quickly is about that woman, what her mind state is, right? It takes a lot of a woman to say that I'm going to be in a relationship with a man for 21 years. For many reasons, okay? The mastermind thing is one of them too. But I mean, just be real, 21 years, right? And him and I talked about that, so we'll get more into that when you guys know.
She waited for him for 21 years.
She did it. She was actually, I believe, his first baby mom. And she was in a relationship, had moved on with her life, but when he came back out, you know, you can't help connection. Right. And she's with him now. So and I don't judge her for that. Like, love is love, I get it. Right. But one of the things I always kind of wonder are, what are some of her struggles? Like, what are her friends thinking? Right. You know, what do her friends put her through? Right. You know, what are some of the things she deals with him? Some of the maybe some PTSD situation. Right. So really quick, what do you guys think? What are some questions you think are really good to ask when I talk to this guy?
Was he dropping the soap?
Was he dropping the soap? We actually talked about that. We did talk about that, and you will know. Right. Anything else you think? What you got? For him or a girl?
I don't know.
Okay, it's a lot. It's a lot. And you have to hear his story. I'm saying, don't judge a book by its cover. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
I can see where, you know, there's just a shortage of genuine people. Yeah. In this world. And so when you find someone who has been incarcerated or you reconnect with someone, they've been incarcerated, right? I think that sometimes we do lose sight of the fact that they are human. And sometimes I personally believe, and I don't put this, you know, project this on anybody else, but I believe that sometimes that time to evolve and to, you know, meditate and to think about who it is that you want to be when you come out. I think that offers some sense if you, of course, nobody wants to be put in jail. Nobody wants to be in prison.
21 years.
21 years, that's a lifetime for some. Yeah. And so nobody wants to be put in that situation. It's not a voluntary thing to do. But I think that if you use that time to think about who you want to be, you know, because you think about 20 years of our lives. Yeah. We evolve as people and we think about what we want in the future. I think that it can be beautiful.
I'm gonna pause on that, May, because I think that you have actually put something out there that a lot of people haven't thought about. So guys, this is the end of episode 3. Thank you so much to my guests. You guys were absolutely amazing. We got a new releases. We got to meet some people, great advice, great makeup, guys. All of the information you want on these beautiful people are going to be on the live feed. Tune in. Like I mentioned to you guys before, on September 16th, I'm going to be interviewing Stacey Lewis. He was in prison for 21 years. Just got out about 5.5 months ago. Guys, Y'all ain't ready for this story. I thank all of you guys for tuning in to the TV Takeover, My Life, Raw, Real, All the Way Live. We're going to be also giving you an opportunity to take a look at some of the different ways that you can keep in touch with me. Actually, I'm going to be in San Diego in a couple of weeks with my crazy ass bestie. Y'all ain't ready for that. So we're going to have a really, really good time. But thank you so much. You know what, DJ? Can we hear Karma's new joint as we close out for the night? Yeah! Thank you guys! Hey! We got this book here. Woo! Thank you.